Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Black Mom in Spain, and today I wanted to talk about my experiences in Asturias, Spain as a single mom, a working expat, and a Black woman. Today, someone had a question about my language is going on right now, and it's a little difficult, I'm going to be honest. I started out knowing absolutely no Spanish, which is knowing no colors, no days of the week, zero. My son had a little bit better grasp in Spanish than I did. Now I'm here about I'm now 8 months in Spain. So I thought it would be good to do a language checkup. I'll tell you all the things I did right and the things I didn't do so right that affected how my grasp of Spanish is. So right now I recently tested and I am at an A2 level of Spanish. Yay, so I did hit my 6 month goal. My goal was to be at A2 level of Spanish. I do not feel like I speak Spanish, but recently I had a friend come over for a couple of weeks and she said, "Oh, your Spanish has improved." So I guess I'm putting on too high of an expectation for myself. Um, I haven't had to learn a new language in a very, very, very long time. So that was difficult for me to pick up Spanish. It is a little similar to French. In West Africa, we are all taught French, but we don't use it as much unless you live in a French speaking country, which Nigeria is not. And here, being a Black woman, a person of color, there are not a lot of us here. So it is very obvious that I'm a foreigner. Now, people trying to be helpful will immediately just try speaking French. They assume I'm French African. And I say, no, I don't understand any French. Then they start speaking English. So many times, Spanish is not the first language people try with me, especially if they speak other languages, which a lot of people here do. They will try another language with me first before they get into the Spanish. So that was helpful to help me feel comfortable when I first got here. Not as much helpful now that I'm trying to master and learn the language. Most people in Asturias do not speak English, especially as you get older. Most kids are taught English and Spanish so that they will be relevant in Europe. But most older people are not really English speaking. And this is not really a place where tourists stay. Most people go to Madrid or Sevilla or Barcelona, but here it's not a place where a lot of people. It's a hidden jewel. They call it the hidden jewel of Spain. So not a lot of people, not a lot of tourists. Therefore, not a lot of English speakers or practice with English speaking. I mean, I had enough to get along. For example, at my gym, there may be 6 people on staff, one speaks English. That's good enough for me. And they know once they see me, kind of help me. Um, so the things I did well. Let me start with the things I did not do so well. I did not do language immersion at all. I watch TV in English. I read the news in English. 50% of the music I listen to is English. And so I did not do as much practice as I could. Where I work is English speaking, even though most of the people who work there are Spanish, but in the office is English speaking. So I do not use as much practice as I could. Oddly enough, the most practice I've gotten is dating. Evidently, the guys here seem to want me to speak Spanish and are chomping at the bit to be the ones to teach me how to speak Spanish. Hey, so that's most of my practice, actually. um, the second thing is I also did not put as much energy into learning Spanish as I could. And the truth is, I couldn't because I ran out of emotional energy just moving here alone with a son, that it was difficult for me to have the emotional energy and the mental energy to push into learning a new language as well. I was just exhausted. Now that I'm 6, 8 months in, I do feel the energy coming back. And now I'm going back into, okay, now I need to put some more effort into the language, put some more effort into integration. But at the beginning, I just needed to rest. So those were the things I didn't do so well. The things I did do well were the language apps I did try. I tried Duolingo, and I also tried something called Pimsleur, Pimsleur. And that I found very, very helpful. I found Pimsleur extremely helpful for what I call restaurant Spanish. Restaurant Spanish is the I want this. Do you have this? How much does it cost? Like very basic Spanish. And it was very useful when I first got here. Second was, of course, I downloaded Google Translate. Yes. Um, that was also very helpful. The translation is a little bit off, of course, but it is good enough that people will understand what you need. And the voice versions are so nice because sometimes when I'm going to do something like I'm going to a post office to drop off something, I can practice ahead of time what I want to say and hear it pronounced properly so that I can get in there. And with 60 to 80% accuracy, they understand what I want. I also took some free classes when I got here at the Center for Adult Education here. And the Red Cross here also does free classes. What I did find was that the classes were too advanced for me. They were good for someone who already had some vocabulary and maybe an A1 to A2 level of Spanish, but I had zero. I had nothing. So being thrown into those classes was a bit too advanced for me. Now, where I am now, I'm actually going to go back and start those classes again because now I'm at a state where they would be helpful for me. Also, I did some italki classes online where you have a native Spanish speaker talk to you in and go through some classes. I think and they were pretty for an American, they were inexpensive. They were like about $10 an hour to some more advanced teachers, maybe $20 an hour. I did those twice a week for about a month. What I did find also similar to the free classes was they were helpful in having me start off, but I do not think they were good value for money. I would suggest having a month or 2 or 3 with Pimsleur, Duolingo, all those online, cheaper online courses. Then start the italki. Italki is excellent when it comes to practicing speaking and correction of your grammar and things of that sort. So you already need to have a grasp of Spanish before I think you'd get value in that. So I feel once you're at a A2 to B level Spanish, get on italki. It will be great for you to practice. Other things that I think would be helpful would be getting in touch with language exchange. There are a bunch of people here who would love to speak English. So it's a nice exchange of I teach you English, you teach me Spanish, we both win. And it's just a great way to practice. Hence, technically, what a lot of my dates have been, really, to be honest. They've been more of guys who just wanted to practice speaking English, which I have no problem with because I want to practice speaking Spanish. So it works out great. I made a lot of good friends. And that's about all that I have right now. That's where I am right now. 8 months in, I've hit my goal of A2. Now I wanted by the end of the year to be at least a B1, being able to express some basic thoughts and ideas. And then hopefully by next year, I want to be able to speak somewhat freely my thoughts and ideas. I am afraid that once I get to probably a B2, I will just stop there and not be interested in getting better. But I'll see how that goes. My deal is that I, when it comes to complex things, I will insist on English. So healthcare, things about education, I will speak in English. But other things that are not as complex, like taking a taxi, ordering at a restaurant, um, doing some basic paperwork, I'm going to try and work in Spanish only. Thank you for listening. And if you have any questions, shoot me a message and let me know what you want to know about living in Asturias here. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.